Surprisingly, one of the most difficult aspects of starting work at Dominican Home Health Agency back in August was figuring out how to get to work every day. With wellness clinics all over the Denver metro area, I often hop on a different bus every morning of the week. The wildest trip to work was when I got on the right bus route but on the wrong side of the street. I ended up on the far east of Denver when I was meant to be on the far west side. I showed up an hour late to work that day. Once I successfully got myself to clinic in the morning, work seemed a lot more straightforward than my tumultuous commutes. In my role as a patient health advocate, my main task felt pretty simple. When someone has an unfulfilled health need, I connect them to a resource that can assist them. Once I got more comfortable in my role and became more familiar with our huge resource binder, most of this assistance, too, typically followed a solid routine. For example, if there's a lack of transportation to doctor's appointments, I explain the senior center's transport service and give out the phone number for booking trips. Or if someone needs glasses, I take their prescription and apply for a voucher through a grant our agency is connected to. Back in the winter, however, I met with a wellness clinic patient, and the encounter was anything but routine. This gentleman walked into the community room of his senior building that we were set up in and told me he would like to talk about options for funding hearing aids. After Bob's visit with the nurse, we sat at the back of the room to go over some options. He thanked me for Dominican coming out to provide this service every month, and then before I could say anything even remotely related to hearing aids, he began unloading about some of the adversities he'd been facing in his building. Bob said he was being bullied by other residents in ways from gossip to complaints about him tending to the building's plants. He said that he was an old man, but it felt like he was being picked on like this was high school. To get away from all that, Bob talked about how he likes to go visit gardens around Denver to get himself out and about. This weekend, he was headed to one once again to celebrate the life of a person he referred to as his first true love in Colorado, who had died years earlier due to illness. His face lit up as he recounted memories of this person, and then he showed me pictures of the two of them and their cat as well. By the time he wrapped up on everything he'd wanted to say, Bob's mood had shifted drastically, and he looked much more content than when he had first walked in. After a beat of silence, I asked if he wanted to discuss hearing aids now, and much to my surprise, Bob very matter-of-factly explained all the avenues and applications he'd already been looking into and was waiting to hear back from. They were all the same ones I would have tried to help him with. And so, Bob said he didn't think there was really much more he needed from me. Then he stood up and walked away. Bob was grieving a loss and needed someone to hear what was on his mind, and it turned out that I ended up being the person who was ready to listen. I may not have been able to give him tangible help in the form of hearing aids assistance, but I was able to provide support in another way I wasn't expecting. I've listened to many accounts from patients since at wellness clinics, from tales of professional bullying to how one person lost half their teeth in a fight years before. I've been working on giving people the space to tell their stories. And the more I listen, the more I realize how much further my role goes beyond connecting people to doctors and vision assistants or asking assessment questions about dental needs and medication. I've more or less mastered all my bus routes, but I'm still doing a lot of navigating. It's just that now what I'm figuring out is just what it means to take care of not only the physical health concerns and needs of those I encounter, but more importantly, how to care for the whole person.